Cold open question of the week, Kaz.
What's up, Shoes?
Whose title win is more exciting, Kenny Omega or CM Punk?
Good question. More
and
exciting?
You feel free. Well, what do you which would you like better? And you feel free to weigh the other side of the equation. You know, feel free to consider that Omega won at the expense of MJF and CM Punk won at the expense of Sami Zayn. Both are moving on without them, right? Basically, both have other opponents already lined up.
This is one of those things where you really find out what type of fan I am and what kind of person I am.
Oh,
so
good.
It's like, am I happy that people are going to get what they want and see a Will Ospreay Kenny Omega match at Wembley Stadium? Or am I happy that so many people are pissed off that CM Punk won the title and went full CM Hogan?
So in your echo chamber, your echo chamber is pro Sammy, pro Kenny, basically.
Yes.
Okay.
But I think that same echo chamber loves a heel CM Punk. I think that same echo chamber loves the idea of Will Ospreay winning the title at Wembley Stadium with a 9-star match against like a Dave Meltzer, schmack fest. You know what I'm saying? A straight gobble fest that Meltzer will go crazy over, which is what the AEW fan loves. So I don't know, man. I would probably have to lean towards the Omega Ospreay match because I think it's the most initially satisfying thing. I think this CM Punk heel turn, which I think it's going to be, is going to be a nice slow burn throughout the rest of the year. So it's like, let's just... Okay,
maybe so through the rest of the year. I find it hard to imagine they would ever really turn him heel.
How is he not? He was Hulk Hogan cupping his ear when they were calling his name when he came back. Like, how are you not in Chicago?
He's acknowledging the sort of absurdity of the situation. He knows that he's there to play Hogan screwing Brett.
Yep.
Right.
And nobody is more aware of the wrestling audience than CM Punk. He knows exactly what fans are going to feel like.
I'm not saying that CM Punk's not willing to heel it up, dude. He was healing it up in the Roman Reigns feud. Like that's not. But I just mean the corporate decision makers.
Is CM Punk not a corporate decision maker now?
I feel like
not what he's what he didn't want to be this entire time. Is he still the voice of the voiceless? Is he still all these things, or is he Mr. TKO?
Mr. TKO is a great guy. There's some Mr. T joke in there too. He is. But I just mean really, don't you feel like even more than of all of the differences between Vince WWE and TKO WWE? I haven't really thought about this deeply. So if I'm full of shit, feel free to call me out. I feel like the one way in which things have actually gotten more, not worse if that's your cup of tea, but just sort of like a Vinceism that's gotten more entrenched is we're not going to turn our cash cows heel.
Right.
Because look at all the money.
Cash cow.
Okay. Cody Rhodes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, but you see, you think CM Punk's turning heel. I was just about to ask, between the 4 baby faces at the top of the next 2 giant shows, Kenny Omega, Will Ospreay, Cody Rhodes, and CM Punk, rank them in terms of heel turn likelihood.
CM Punk is number 1 with a bullet.
Okay.
Very, 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 very top.
I'd say Ospreay would be number 2, but
I think Ospreay would be 2. Yeah.
Because it's easy. I mean, but if he's the new champ, maybe it makes more sense for Kenny Omega to go heel. But I just feel like Kenny and Cody, and to an extent, I mean, and CM Punk are just kind of too important to the status quos of their companies, of their respective companies, to go. Maybe I'm crazy,
but you could be important as a heel too. You know, that's one thing WWE is lacking, is a real deal heel that, I don't know, not necessarily like a Thanos level, Dr. Doom level,
Well, Roman Reigns is still. I didn't put Roman Reigns on that list sort of deliberately. Like they could switch him to the heel locker room tomorrow, and you wouldn't really know the difference, right? Yeah. I mean, it's just sort of Roman. So I don't disagree. I don't think WWE or TKO would have any issue with turning CM Punk into a Roman Reigns style heel, but I don't think that's really like actionable. I don't think that it's like I don't think it's easy as pushing a button, right? I think that, like, to find that middle ground that Roman has occupied for so long is just a sort of magical thing that involves his personality. CM Punk, if they tell CM Punk he's playing heel, he's going to go out there on the mic and he's going to start making fun of old ladies in the front row. Like, he's just like, he'll play heel. You know, he's not just going to play cool. And also, CM Punk's got a different face and a different rep and a different personality, justified or unjustified. If CM Punk's playing heel, it's gonna feel real heely. It's gonna, like, it's not gonna be like, oh, he's too cool for school, but I understand. It's like, he's too cool for school and it makes me mad. He thinks he's too cool for school and I'm mad. You know, like, it's just a different guy.
I feel like that's a way to look at it in Punk's past, but I put nothing past him. I don't either. His ability
when he turned heel. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I put nothing past his ability to update that version of heel CM Punk, to make it seem like something that is 2026, something that is very inside baseball. Like, he's the most inside baseball wrestler of all time. So anything the fans feel like they're about to boo him about, I'm sure he's well aware of, and will probably play into it better than we could even think about right now. So he's number one at the top of the list. You can turn him heel. You haven't really got a real good heel CM Punk run in a long time. And like you said, he's popular enough to where he doesn't have to necessarily be like the fat ladies, all you fat sloppy pigs and this terrible city type of heel. Like, I think he's a little bit more nuanced to do.
Did you see that fan interaction that someone posted on social media?
Called him an asshole?
Yeah, the fan was very, like, he was being really sweet, as CM Punk seems to always be these days, and slapping hands. And a fan was like, hey, you were an asshole to me 10 years ago. And CM Punk was like, that's great. You were probably an asshole.
Yeah, that's a CM Punk interaction.
That's, and probably true, you know, or could very well be true. Don't sue me. Got random person in the audience. I don't know. I think it's something to watch. I do think that there's a middle ground where CM Punk could be the heel, sort of nominally, in this feud, but frankly, I don't know that it's. I think it's a very, very tiny tightrope to walk. If they do CM Punk turns heel on Cody Rhodes in a minor way, I feel like the fans are just going to turn on Cody. Right?
Maybe.
Like, if CM Punk is like the Bret Hart and like Shawn versus Bret, I think the fans just like totally turn on Shawn. They're just like, why are you making my guy do this? You're obviously the heel. Let's work it out.
He's such a Bret Hart stan. I have a hard time I have a hard time imagining he doesn't change much of himself, but just says and does different things that makes you go, man, fuck that guy.
When he went on the heel run, when he teamed up with Heyman, what year was that? That's like so long ago.
Gosh,
it's like 8-9 years ago now?
Oh, it's longer than that.
12 years ago now? Yeah, it's a long ass time.
Yeah.
But I remember at the time thinking you could just tell how much he was just lavishing in being a heel. You could tell. I mean, and honestly, you could look around the company at the time and just be like, he didn't need to turn heel. This wasn't a thing where it was like, sure, you get some good matches, but like out of him and Cena or like whatever the deal was. But like, yeah, him and Cena could always have matches. You know, you didn't need him as a villain, except for the fact that he seemed to really want to do it. You know, and I can imagine. I mean, every great wrestler just wishes they were a heel. It's more fun. It's just a matter of how they really put you over in the modern era and how much your T-shirts. I mean, just Jesus Christ! If everybody stopped buying CM Punk merch tomorrow, there'd be like, I'm sure there's a couple warehouses full of his gear that are just gonna have to get sent to some third world country.
I was about to say, like, Haiti is going to get a whole bunch of CM Punk merch.
By the way, they should. I know that wrestling
with San Antonio Spurs NBA championship gear. Buddy.
I was going to say, I know that wrestling is predetermined, but I feel like it would be a good PR move if children in third world countries were wearing, you know, Cody Rhodes wins at WrestleMania. Which way he lost at 4?
Like, you know how they have, I mean, they do that now. They do have like the champion t-shirts that they wear in like the press conferences.
Yeah.
After, like Mania and SummerSlam. It would be so fucking funny if like the loser of that, like if there were like CM Punk world champion the WrestleMania t-shirts on like little Haitian kids. Oh, dude. That would be a great bit. They'll never do it. That would be a hilarious bit.
Because if it was fake, it would be super offensive. right? Like
It's gotta be fake.
No, I'm just saying, like, it would be, yeah, right. Like, you could do a bit where you just like print 5 T-shirts and like take a camera crew to like it could be on a set in Hollywood, like whatever in HQ. You know, you can just do it in the big green screen room, but like it would be super offensive to stage that. So you kind of have to either really do it or. All right, moving on. That was not
this is a crazy
cut.
long cold open.
Are we still in the cold open?
We are still in the cold open, Dave.
Let's start the show. Welcome to the Masked Man Show with Kaz. You still there? How you doing, buddy?
I'm still there, buddy. How are you?
I'm good. I'm tired. You know, lots of stuff going on, but it's getting there. It's getting there.
Getting there.
We got a little bit too much latitude. You know what I mean? Like there's, you know, I'm staying in.
I don't envy
house.
you at all. Moving sucks. It's a bottom 5 experience for me. Like I hate with a passion moving.
Well, there was a phase in my life where I was like, I finally reached a level of my life where, number one, I'm not going to go to like a sporting event unless I can get good seats. Not front row. I'm just saying, like, I don't need to go see like the Nets play and sit in the back row. You know, like whatever. Like you pay for a nice seat. And 2, I'm never going to move without paying someone to move me. Right? I'm not going to do the thing anymore. But then you get older, and then you buy a house, and then you're like, you know how much it's going to cost to have something to pay someone to move all this stuff? Or you do what I did, and you send them, you move all your stuff, but then you look around, and you're like, oh shit, I have a whole nother move of the stuff I didn't have them take initially. So anyway, that's boring. What's exciting is Kenny Omega is your new AEW champion. After a wonderful match with MJF last night, I actually pulled some clips because I was so excited about this match.
Let's pull some clips.
First of all, there's a lot of praise to be handed out, but let me play the audio of the greatest moment in professional wrestling history, according to some.
A second right hand. Dangerous territory for both men. Watch out.
Those were the beautiful sounds of Kenny Omega V-triggering MJF, who was standing on the ring apron, off the ring apron and through the announce table, head first. Did we talk on the air or off the air a few weeks ago about how there should be a way to engineer a better announce table for a better announce table spot? I think Tony Khan took note and actually did it, because it wasn't the best table spot of all time, but I'm serious, it might have been the best table break of all time.
Yeah, I've never seen somebody go head first into an announce table before. Like he dove like Ryan Lochte into that table, and then like it was just shattered everywhere. I don't know if he listened to our show, but he definitely has like the patron saint of table breaking on salary now, and Mick Foley. And
True.
you know, he did he's doing interviews now. Like he's very much in the AEW fabric. I wouldn't be shocked if like Mick Foley went up to both of those guys like, hey, that'll be really cool, like a really cool table break. Like, let's do it like this. And you can't tell me that wasn't planned, because nobody goes for a table spot like head first like that. Like
no. It was clearly on purpose, and it might have been. I mean, I've watched it a few times trying to figure out how exactly it was gimmicked. I mean, it looked more gimmicked the first time I watched it, like they just like meticulously cut out a perfect head hole or something, you know, and it broke in this wonderful way. But the more I watch it, the more I think it wasn't gimmicked that specifically. Maybe it was just the material is obviously breakable in a way that tabletops normally aren't. But it was a thing of beauty, man. It was so cool, and it looked really good. I mean, it did exactly what it needed to do, as most things in that match accomplished. I mean, it was there was a lot, obviously a lot at stake in this match, right? The winner the winner gets to face Will Ospreay at All In, big deal. But also they had the Kenny Omega stipulation on the line where he could never challenge for the title again, and we discussed this. Maybe the greatest trick Tony Khan ever pulled was convincing us that that these stipulations are all meaningless to him, or because he can't, like every time he has a big stip like this, it turns out that it doesn't matter. It doesn't go to the way that you think it's going to go. And this way he just walked into it. This was perfect booking. Everybody knew what was expected. I'm not saying we knew what was coming, but we all predicted that All In would feature Kenny Omega versus Will Ospreay, or a lot of people did. And especially with Kenny's championship, challenges on the line, unless something wild happened. Of course, Kenny Omega is going to win, right? I mean, he's not going to never challenge for the title again. We've seen where that goes. They're making it. They're doing it in a very self-aware fashion. Anyway,
it almost seemed like a guy who was the champion and an EVP would be the only person to reverse the other shit, like the Hangman thing and all that type of stuff. It's like, all right, like that. The former tag team champions together. Like, that had to be Kenny. Like, Kenny had to be the guy to take the title off of MJF. So,
yeah,
I get totally true. But, we talk about our echo chambers and our Twitter. People are unhappy that MJF is no longer a champion. They're like, I've seen a lot of folks that have blue checks and large followings saying, how do you take your title off of the guy who's the biggest money maker?
I don't know. I mean, we can talk about it a little bit. I feel like that's a little bit, I think it's largely as disingenuous as all the other disingenuous arguments that we see on, like the WWE, AEW arguments that we see online that are mostly just done by bots or, adult teenagers or whatever. I'm the father of 2 children. I'm allowed to say that. But, it's, I think MJF has a lot of, especially in this reign in particular, has sort of officially gotten, both in kayfabe and in the real world, the reputation is like the one real steady hand champ in AEW, right? He's the one guy that keeps ratings up, that like makes matchmaking exciting, that like, gets eyeballs on the screen. And I think there's some legitimacy to that. I mean, there's certainly some like literal, like factual legitimacy to that. Whether or not that's a decision, it's about him or it's about the failure in other ways. I guess you can argue, but also MJF is just sort of, like I said, in the WWE AEW type arguments that we try so hard to ignore. I feel like there are intra AEW arguments where MJF is basically just the pro WWE fill-in, right? People stand for MJF as a way of knocking AEW. As the shorter way to say that.
I think he used to be like that. I think he peeled that back a little bit. He used to be very much like.
I'm not talking about him. I'm talking about the people online that are like saying this, like mad that he lost.
Oh, okay. All right. I can see that.
It's more of a Tony Khan as an idiot than a anti Kenny Omega as champ sentiment. I just don't know how you say no to Kenny Omega versus Will Ospreay at Wembley. I mean,
and also we don't got that many Kenny Omega big time matches left. Like, that's something we got to put into account. Like, last night he looked like Kenny Omega in the Tokyo Dome. Like, he looked like the guy that, you'd stay up at 3 a.m., 4 a.m., 5 a.m. to watch in New Japan way back in the day. Like, he looked like that guy last night.
And it was a big match.
I don't know how many moves he got left in him though. That's the thing.
Well, it certainly wasn't as long as a lot of his like epic and New Japan things, but I mean that's not really an indicator.
But he got the greatest hits off. That's all that matters. He got the greatest hits off.
I mean, it was a big. Like, they were in the crowd like immediately, right? I mean, that's to me that's the indicator of this is a big match. We're gonna hit all the beats, and we're gonna have so many beats to hit. We're gonna get one out of the way. It's like the John Cena thing where he would act like he would be like 2 minutes into every match during his main run, during his heyday, he was like gasping for air outside the ring. It was like he just got murdered already. It was like every match was like we're 20 minutes into the match immediately, and it had some of that vibe, but it was earned. It was what a good match. And this is why you have MJF as champion, so that he can drop it in these significant ways, and then he can try to get it back. And by the way, Will Ospreay's promo that he cut on him, both without him and to his face earlier in the show, is not nothing, right? Ospreay is probably going to be the champ in how long? 2 months, and Ospreay's the one saying you're never gonna get to the top of the mountain unless you ditch the hijinks, unless you take this seriously. And every heelish or comedy wrestler has that arc to go through at some point, and they're just making that the whole. I mean, but they're just putting that out on Front Street right now. So they're making it front and center. to whatever feud is there. And by the way, I like the fact that they're feuding preemptively, just the way that Andrade and MJF were feuding preemptively, so that when they fight at Redemption, it already has stakes. It already has some history. Or if they fight it all in, I don't know what they're going to do. But what do you think? Let me just ask you this question in a vacuum, because maybe I'm crazy. MJF, Will Ospreay, and Kenny Omega. How, if you have to put two of those guys in a match in Wembley, which two do you pick?
Ospreay and Omega.
If you have the chance to make it, if you have the chance to make it a triple threat, does that interest you?
No. It doesn't. I think Ospreay. I think when we've been building this Will Ospreay Wembley Stadium moment for the World Championship for at least the past 3 years, and I think a triple threat match sort of. And you know me, like we've had the same discussion about WrestleMania coming up this past year. I was basically like, "Yo, world titles, your biggest show, 1v1. Like that's the way it should be." I'm like, I'm not mad at triple threats. Triple threats have been great. There's been awesome triple threat world title matches at like WrestleManias and big type WrestleMania events. But I love a nice 1v1 with stakes, with history. Like Omega and Ospreay have so much lore to draw from.
Agreed. But let me ask you, can I ask you another related question?
Yes.
Keep going.
Yes.
Same question in WWE. CM Punk, Cody Rhodes, and Sami Zayn. Which two of those do you pick to headline SummerSlam? Ooh. Or do you make it a triple threat?
See, it's SummerSlam. It's not WrestleMania. If it was WrestleMania, I'd be like, sorry, Sammy, we want that one-on-one Cody versus Punk, right? But this is SummerSlam. I need that triple threat. Like, especially after the promo Sammy cut after the show that went viral and, you know, going kind of crazy. And, you know, me in my own mind thinking like, all right, like, is Punk going to turn heel a little bit? Like, maybe he's not all the way a heel. Maybe he's just sort of like the first promo he cut, he said, I'm not here to make friends. I'm here to make money. And if he just like dives into that and people hate him for that, I'm cool with that, you know, but those three, yeah, I that should be a triple threat.
By the way, don't
Sammy's owed a rematch. Sammy's owed a rematch. Cody's owed a title match. Punk's the champion.
But it's the same thing in AEW. MJF's owed a rematch, right?
Of course, but there's a pay-per-view before that. Like, I mean, maybe you could do a world title match at Saturday night's main event at the Garden, maybe. But I don't know. We'll see.
Okay,
have they announced any Saturday night's main event matches?
Yeah,
not yet,
didn't
right?
they or no?
Danhausen and JD McDonough.
Yeah.
Right? I think Fatal Influence and this for the tag titles. Those are the only matches I saw so far, but I don't know if they've announced anything else other than that.
By the way, the CM Punk, I'm not here to make friends, I'm here to make money line might have been like the most brilliant thing to say ever when you come into a place, because there's only one way to go from there in everybody's opinion, which is up. Like if he had come back and was just like, I'm here to make friends this time, then like every time you saw a picture of him down at NXT or like with somebody, you'd be like, look at this motherfucker, look at this liar, he's just posing. Tool. Yeah, he's lying. He's either a tool or he's a liar. You know, you don't like, but yeah, it was great. Now it's all gravy with him. Okay, let me ask you one more question.
Yes.
Between Sami Zayn and MJF, who would you prefer to be the special guest referee in the title match that they're not in?
Oh gosh, we already saw Sammy as a ref.
I
guess MJF by default, but there's no way you don't have that motherfucker wrestling. You know what I mean? Like
I could see Sami Zayn. I think the fact that Sammy has already done it makes it actually plausible just to get him in that match. But
yeah, maybe if he doesn't lose his marbles during the match, like it's like, I'm reffing again. I'm a referee again. Fuck all this. Like if he goes nuts, yeah. But I'd pick MJF. I don't know, man. Last night's match was really good. And last night's show was really good. I mean, I caught the repeat when I got home last night. But it was really good. I mean, the Kyle Fletcher Konosuke Takeshita match
so
as well
good.
for the international championship was awesome.
Bruce was saying that presumably he lost that because he's in the G1.
Okay, can see that.
And I saw some notes online that like, all right, well, there is a downside to having like multiple contracts and multiple companies and being a big guy in all of them. Like sometimes this stuff happens, but I think it was seamless. It wasn't as if it was like just a functional title switch because of dating. It fit with the storyline, and I like the fact that they're passing these things on. I love that interview. Was it?
Question for you, Dave.
Yeah.
Does the international title, continental title, and world title all feel like world titles? Or do the international title, the continental title, and the TNT title all feel like mid-card titles?
I think the second one.
Okay.
The world title is the world title.
Yeah.
Unless you're WWE,
there's
and you
two
have
world
two
titles on WWE. You know what I mean?
We all know which one the real one is. But no, I think if you have two,
you could make the argument. If you're a Moxley guy, you'd be like, that's the real champion right there. You know what I mean?
But Moxley's not. But Moxley, I agree that's possible. Moxley is not being booked as a champion. I mean, he's being booked as a top guy. But if he was opening and closing shows with promos about how great it was to be the real champion, I mean, that would be a different thing, But I don't. It's, to me, nothing's on the level of the world title, and I think that's by design, right? I mean, you have all these other titles, but you don't want there to be any confusion going into All In what the main event is, because but you do want to put Moxley up against the best possible opponent. You put Moxley against who's the MJF, whatever. Just say it. The two biggest names you could come up with. If they both have titles, is it is one a night one and one a night two main event? No, the main event is Omega Ospreay. That's it. We all know what it's going to be. So I don't know. I mean, listen. The Omega winning felt very preordained in the best possible way. This is good wrestling. This is the Triple H stuff that we pat him on the back for. Is it cool? Does it make sense? Let's do it. Kenny Omega looked like $1 million last night, and very much looked like a sort of person that can main event a giant event like All In, and go and get a match out of how many times have Ospreay and Omega wrestled, Bruce? 2, right?
I think it's gonna be the third one.
So this is 3.
Up.
This is
it's the rubber match.
Yeah, this is not only the people and the stakes, but the history too. I couldn't be more excited. But you're right, it was a very good episode of Dynamite. Can I play you the other Dynamite? Well, there's 2 things I want to talk about, but as long as we're in sound bites, I want to play you one more. Okay.
Oh
no, power drill.
Somebody's got to get his ass out of here. Yeah, there comes security.
Security coming to the ring, trying to prevent Ciampa from doing something unspeakable to Jericho.
Psycho killer. That's what he goes by, and he's showing it right there.
Yeah, who knows what he would do if he can get to Jericho with that drill.
Doing something unspeakable to Chris Jericho with that drill, Kaz. In years past, we've talked about what the limits are to weapons in pro wrestling. The kendo sticks are okay because they're sort of metaphorical swords or bats or whatever you want to say, but you can't really use a sword, right? You could. Drew McIntyre can chop the top rope or whatever, but he's not going to go after anybody. No one's going to bring a gun into a pro wrestling ring. Is a power drill a step too far? Not in terms of I'm not being an old lady about this. I'm not clutching my pearls. I'm just saying from a practical point of view, is that drill a little bit weird? We can't ever really use it.
I mean, unless you don't have plans to murder or maim someone, yeah, I think it's a little far. But I'll say this, man. I had a discussion with somebody. I think it was with Swerve. I think me and Swerve were having a conversation about this. And we were like, what are the limits? What's the one thing you can't ever do? What's the one thing you can't ever do? And this is years ago. And I don't know if this was for real. I don't know if he was just fucking with me when he did this. But anyway, do you remember when he was feuding with the Scissor Gang? What's his name?
The Bang Bang Gang? Yeah.
No, the Scissors. The Acclaimed. And he was feuding with the Acclaimed and Billy Gunn. And they had Billy Gunn tied up in a freaking warehouse or whatever. And his hands are behind his back. And he had scissors. And he goes behind them. And then you hear Billy Gunn yell. From the naked eye, it for sure looks like Swerve stuck a pair of scissors up his ass. And I'm always sodomy always seems like that's the that is the bridge too far for wrestling. Like, you could light someone on fire, you could throw somebody off a scaffolding, you could do all these type of things. Sticking anything up anyone's ass is like the biggest of no-nos. So he didn't stick the scissors up Billy Gunn's ass.
Weirdly the most realistic.
He cut off his fingers so he couldn't scissor. But to the do we have that clip? Can we find that clip, Bruce?
Whatever you're thinking, don't do it. You're gonna be in the hospital. You're gonna regret it. I promise you, Swerve. Don't do it. Don't do it. It's too late. Don't do it, Swerve. I'm telling you.
What the?
Spooky season has arrived.
Because the first time I saw it,
but they were trying to
I was
imply,
like, did he just sodomize Billy?
Well, I think
Mr.
that's what they
Ass?
were trying to make you think. But you're right. It's strangely the most realistic thing you could do. A wrestler could do to one another, judging by like some locker rooms in the '80s. But yeah, I don't think you can do that. I have to
say a power drill in the ass would probably be like.
I just think it's funny. I think that the announce team, who are amazing at what they do, Excalibur in particular, are just put in such a weird, perilous situation here. Excalibur is like, he's going to do something unspeakable to Chris Jericho. It's like, you can't even say the thing.
Yeah.
You know
can't
what I
be
mean?
like, he's going to drill a hole in Chris Jericho's forehead. I'm like, I don't think he's really going to do that.
For all you comic book nerds out there, this is also why you can't have a good Wolverine movie, because unless he's fighting robots or zombies or some magical thing, his mutant power is doing things you can't show on television and in most movies. You know, like you can't just chop the shit out of somebody.
Have you seen the preview for this Wolverine game coming out on PlayStation 5?
No.
Oh, he's murdering motherfuckers. Yes, it is bloody. It is exactly what you think a guy with like super strong metal claws in their body would look like if all he could do is slash people up. Yes, it's a bloody mess. It's what Wolverine should look like.
Yeah.
So I will give them
But
that.
it's weird that Wolverine is the best. I mean, you know, the best version of all those anti-hero characters, the coolest thing, whatever. But you know, he's hacked the hell out of the Hulk back in the day, and he's got the green blood all over his claws and like whatever. But you do that knowing the Hulk's not going to get hurt, right? And he can fight a Sentinel, or you can fight a big mob of ninjas because they're all faceless and presumably like, you know, not exactly human on some level. Okay, maybe we just need to change the subject. I just think it's an interesting to look at when choice of weapons goes too far. And obviously AEW's had a lot of instances with this, of doing things like Swerve sticking a freaking needle through who stuck who's through the cheek?
It was a pair of scissors near or around Billy Gunn's butt.
No, I know that. I'm not talking about that one. But Swerve's used hypodermic needles. He's
needles to the face. Yeah.
That's but they went through with it. As gruesome as it is, they did it. There's no way in hell anybody's getting touched with a drill. I was using a drill today. There's no way in hell there's no way to gimmick this. Well, I guess there's always a way to gimmick it. You could just have it not turned on, or have some drill that looks like it's spinning, but it's not. I don't know. And then just like bleed. Like, how did they do weed whackers on the indies? Or how did they do, like, they've definitely done some weird stuff. They've had chainsaws that aren't on. I don't think anybody used on anybody, but when like Chainsaw Charlie had his chainsaw, it was not a functional chainsaw, right? Maybe I'm just being crazy, but that's my recollection.
No, it's not. So I learned this, okay? So when we did Fourth Rope a few months ago in Philadelphia, we had a talent who used a chainsaw, and I learned for the first time there is working chainsaws and worked chainsaws. Like, they would be, you know, allegedly in certain buildings, you're not allowed to have like a live chainsaw, like just going. So they have like gimmicked chainsaws that, like, you know, make the sound, does the spin, but doesn't cut anything. You know what I mean?
I don't even know if Chainsaw Charlie did the spin. There was like smoke that would come out of the chainsaw. Yeah, but I don't know that I saw it spinning. I don't have any recollection of this. Anyway,
there's this magical gimmicked chainsaws out there. You can't like go be like, oh man, we need a chainsaw. Go to Home Depot and bring one. Like, they won't let you do it. We tried. They wouldn't let you do
it. That'd be great if that was Home Depot's responsibility. Like, as you're checking out, they're like, okay, you just got to sign this waiver that you're not using this in a professional wrestling setting. All right, you can't.
And Terry Funk's like, sure, buddy.
That comes up on the screen. As you're doing a self checkout, there's like, do you want to donate to the military? Do you want to, whatever? And then it's just like, do you want insurance? Do you want a warranty on this product? And then are you using this in a professional wrestling environment? I just want to say for the record that I think Ciampa and Jericho are a perfect match for this moment in time. And I really enjoyed their match together. Listen, you can always have a counterfactual that we said one earlier where you look and you say, wow, it turned out Ciampa only had 50 matches left. I wish he hadn't had X, Y, and Z. But I actually think I don't think he's anywhere near the end. And I love this. I love Ciampa's enthusiasm to be like seeming enthusiasm to be working with Jericho. And I love that Jericho's just like, murder me, please. Like, it's just such a great, I don't know. It feels very vibrant. If you had told me this 6 months ago, I would have just sort of rolled my eyes, and I'm very excited. But I love them going through. I just can't get over the announcers going through. What is he going to do with that drill? Or something we can't even say on the air. And then Shivani's like, psycho killer. That's what he called. And then you're just like, that is what he calls himself. Wait a second. None of this is okay right now. It's all.
You're
It's
not
like
going to murder this guy, are you?
Yeah. Well, it's just like suddenly we have to deal with we have to be literal with nicknames. If you took this to court, the prosecutor would definitely be like, Your Honor, he calls himself the psycho killer, and you're just like, oh shit, that matters, It suddenly got really real. Anyway, I thought that was great. And then on the women's side, we have another all-in match that's already been prognosticated, I should say. Willow Nightingale made a shocking return in the Casino Gauntlet match. That's right? I get all their matches confused. Thank you, Bruce. Willow Nightingale made a shocking return in the Casino Gauntlet match. By the way, she was out for 2 months. Was it even 2 months? Was it in kayfabe? Was it necessary that she relinquish her title at all? Is there a 30-day, like you have to defend every 30 days thing, like there was sometimes in the Jack Tunney era of WWF? Or did she just think that everybody thinks she was way more hurt than she was in kayfabe? In the real world, I'm guessing they were just like, wouldn't it be cooler?
Yeah, I think she was like, I'm almost positive like they pretty much were like, you're going to miss the entire Owen tournament. So it just makes sense to just.
Yeah, it's a little bit too fraught then because of the title itself. Sure.
Mm-hmm.
But or because of the Owen Cup or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But also I think there has to be some Machiavellian genius thinking here, which is she's right on the cusp. What can we do to push her a step higher? Well, winning the Owen would be a good thing. The 26 Owen would be a good thing, but it would be even better if she just disappeared for a month, was forced to relinquish the title, and then came and got it back. Then was just like, you guys are like basically the Cena tricep return, where he's just like gonna be gone for a while, and then 2 weeks later he's just like, triceps all healed up, guys. I mean, it was yeah. But I thought the reception that she got last night just sort of crystallized everything that had been building for her in a real way. And now, again, 2 months ago, if you had said Mercedes versus Willow at All In, I would have been like, I think we could do better, right? Now, if that's where they're going, if indeed at Redemption, we're going to have Tekla versus Willow for the title at Redemption, and the widespread assumption, Mercedes obviously has the All In shot, is that it's going to be Willow versus Mercedes at All In. This is one, by the way, where I might actually think really hard about a triple threat, because I think there's a lot of different opportunities here, just in terms of what you can do in the ring with the three of them involved. But and to say nothing of Tekla deserving to be in the biggest women's match of AEW's calendar year. I mean, she's been the MVP of that division. Full stop. There's nothing. I mean, argue with me.
The AEW women's division, that's been hot and cold to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes it's good. Sometimes it's like, we could. But like, you could make an on paper case for Statlander, right? I mean, obviously she's had the first half of the year was like the biggest thing. I just think that the way that Tekla mattered before she was champion, but more importantly, the way that she's carried herself since she's champion is just sort of is really impressive. There's nobody. There might be. She's really horny. Like she's horny. Like she's got a level of. She's got like a smidge of like Tony Storm horniness on commentary.
Well,
I'm just like, oh.
Tony Storm.
Try and let it talk some more.
Tony Storm was the trailblazer.
Queen horny.
No, she blazed the trail. She walked so that Tekla could run. When it comes to being horny on the mic, don't get me wrong, but Tekla's horniness is not the same
Mm-hmm.
Tekla is just more of like a punk. Tekla is the sort of person that can like that literally anything will come out of her mouth. She doesn't have a filter, and it's just going to be that. I feel like Toni Storm was deliberately horny. It was performatively horny, if you will. You know, it was she worked up her. She had puns. She had she had material. She had bits. And Tekla's just like Tekla's the kind of person that'll cackle about seeing a dead deer on the side of the road as easily as she'll make some horny comment. When someone says something. Tekla's just a very high level. That's what she said. I feel like, it's just like something. If there's any comment to be made, she's like, I just want to point out that I know that's there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, but Tekla's so great, and she has so much character in real life. I met her talked to her briefly at WrestleMania. I mean, she's just that in real life. I mean, didn't say anything ostensibly horny to me, probably for her own safety. But no, I just mean I'm a strange man. She doesn't know me. But as we're talking,
but if she did,
yeah. But she walks in with that much energy, and she's just like, I was just like, hey, just want to say whatever, and she's screaming at people walking by as I'm talking. She's great. She's just absolutely great. And you talk to the people that are closest to her, and the general perception is like she is greater than you realize, like the sort of thing a normal person would say about a great wrestler they were close to. But two, they all seem a little bit perplexed by her as well. It's like I don't know exactly how to put any of this into words.
Right.
It's just she's a lot in the best possible way. Yeah.
When somebody tells you that a woman is a lot, that's usually all the description you really need.
That was my phrasing. I don't think I heard that verbatim. But but she's just, what she is? She's a fucking pro wrestler.
Yeah.
She's just a pro wrestler. Like she could have been a pro wrestler at any point in our lifetime, and would have been top of the game.
So why have her lose? You wouldn't want to have Tekla.
Well, that's Mercedes? No. I think there's a widespread assumption that it's going to be Willow versus Mercedes. One, because face versus heel. One, because Willow's on this great trajectory and it's really great. And Mercedes is obviously going to be there too, because Tekla and Mercedes are sort of working together. I mean, Mercedes has healed it up too much late, where like you could have done a really neat triple threat with Mercedes kind of threading the middle, but Mercedes just has like, the powers of pain, the female powers of pain doing her bidding now, and like it's just so heelish. And they're still kind of telling this story of her, losing all the belts and deteriorating and like trying to bring it all back and everything. And I just don't think you could. So really, it would almost be 2v1, which is not until they came to blows, which we've seen this triple threat before, and that can be wonderful too. I just don't think they're setting up for it. It just doesn't feel like that's the way they're going. I would have it a triple threat. I mean, I said that at the top. I think that for all the cool things that Mercedes and Willow can do together, just adding Tekla, Willow is going to be double suplexing these ladies left and right. Like it's good. Like they are both one arm opponents for her, and there's just so much cool stuff you could do in the construction of the match. You can have Tekla Mercedes go for 10 minutes while Willow is, nursing her tricep on the outside or whatever, you can have every pair is amazing. And then the three of them together can do some just absolutely sick stuff, you would think. So, and All In, it's their WrestleMania. It's different for them because they're still nominally a growth company. I mean, WWE is too, but WWE, you put on the best stuff you can put on and let the fans explain to the non-fans what's happening. AEW still got to be hoping it's getting like completely fresh eyeballs on All In, and if you turn, it's like I used to always say, you got to put the Lucha Bros versus the Bucks on to start every pay-per-view. Just do it. Just start every single pay-per-view and run the first 15 minutes of it free and give them 15 more minutes after behind the paywall. Like you got to give people something they're not going to see on the other show. And right now, that the most interesting thing you could give them might be that triple threat women's match with three absolutely elite women right at the top. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I mean, shit. The women's division's kind of been up and down, but you get Mercedes and Willow back in the fold and immediately just looks better. I mean, you get Athena back on Dynamite, and it's one of the most asked questions in the history of AEW is like, yeah, that Athena girl is really good. Why is she on Ring of Honor every week? You should probably put her on TV. Like,
I don't know if I said this on the air. I talked to Billy Starks at WrestleMania and never met her before. It was just like, hey, Louisville girl, like, you know, like, she's an incredible wrestler. She's another one that almost
this is at the was that Joey Janela's?
Yeah, we were at Spring Break or whatever.
I remember that.
And Billy Starks is actually a bigger question mark to me than Athena, because Athena could just be as simple as one answer. I don't know it, but it could be as simple as like, that's where she wants to work, or there's something contractual, or, you know, whatever. She has a blood feud with fill in the blank, like whatever.
Or maybe somebody just doesn't like her.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean. But that answer would be simple, right? It would be very straightforward if you knew it. Billy Starks to me is a huge question mark, because she's like, freaking, like, she came in as like, can you believe we just signed an 18-year-old and she's one of the most talented wrestlers in the world, and look what's going to happen. And then it's just like, we're going to keep her off TV for 3 years. Like, I just don't understand, off of network mainstream television for 3 years. But I talked to Billy about it. I was just like, I know everybody asks you this, but what do you guys have there been plans that have been scuttled? Have there, you know, are you waiting on I kind of got the impression after a while we were waiting on, you know, Tony Khan will get an idea in his head sometimes and just pause 5 careers waiting for one injury to heal up. I convinced myself that he had talked himself into a Mercedes Athena feud or something, and just timing didn't work out over and over again, and so they just kept running back the same stories in Ring of Honor. I don't think that's true anymore. I don't know what the case is, but I can tell you from my interaction with Billy Starks, who might have well been working me, she doesn't know what the fuck's going on either. Like, she was like, I don't know, dude. Like, I'm ready to go. Like, you know, like, Athena's ready to go. We're like, we'll be wherever they call us. But anyway, that is the biggest question. And maybe someday it'll be resolved. Maybe it'll just be like a Dark Side of the Ring in 10 years or something. By the way, I have not watched the Jeff Jarrett TNA Dark Side of the Ring, but a lot of people seem to be paying attention to it. So we should talk about that next week or something. Jeff Jarrett, my personal idol. There was a bit about like what happened to your AEW push, and I was like, oh yeah, what happened to his AEW push? He went straight from one big feud to feuding with MJF, and then he was just gone. He didn't even have a match with MJF, did he? I don't even remember.
I don't think so.
I mean, Jarrett's a personal icon of mine. I talk about.
Did you watch the Dark Side of the Ring?
No, I haven't. That's what I'm saying. That's saying. We'll talk about it We'll talk about it next week, because I want to talk about it.
So good.
But I do want to talk about the general Jericho. Jarrett reaction. Listen, I know that he's been at the center of some real wrestle crap. I know that the existence of TNA Wrestling. It's like, could you come up with a worse name than TNA Wrestling? And Jeff Jarrett was like, handed himself a beer and was like, Global Force Wrestling. Oh, I mean, it was just, there's been some real junk out there. And Jeff Jarrett obviously did himself no favors with the walkouts of, you know, the contractual wrangling. Although, go fuck yourself if you say that, because you know what? We should be pro talent all the time. Just like Kaz was saying last episode. Like, if you have to hold up the belt to get paid, guess what? Hold up the fucking belt, because 10 years from now you might have invested that money and it might be worth something. But I guarantee WWE is not calling to send you any new money. You know, it's not they're not finding more work for you. But you know, and to say and the WCW run where he was just clearly Russo's favorite and also booked as Russo's favorite and trying to fill the shoes of 10 headliners who had just walked out the door. You know, it was almost like they were trying to say, yeah, this guy's very modern. He cusses. He does all this stuff. But also for all you old school fans, he's basically Ric Flair, you know, like, and he was not. But Chris Jericho, I mean, why do I keep saying Chris Jericho? My brain is really messed up. But Jeff Jarrett is a legitimately great wrestler. And
He's one of the greats.
His stuff before WWE, his relatively brief career in Memphis was the stuff of legends. There's been even in Memphis, we had your Tommy Wildfire Richard. We had so many little bleach blonde baby faces, but Jeff Jarrett was the best one. I mean, he looked the part. He played the part well. He was wrestling dynasty. You know, he was beloved by everybody there because he was a Jarrett, but he earned it too. I remember Saturday morning, when Memphis Wrestling when CWA would come on, they would put on commercials. They were selling Jeff Jarrett posters. But it wasn't just cool. It was Jeff Jarrett in jeans no shirt with water being poured on him. Like Jeff Jarrett after a hard day on the farm, cooling off. And it was a beefcake photo. Like, it was not like why would a kid want that? They were selling it to people because he was a.
There were grown-ups that would want this.
Yes, this was for people who were in love with Jeff Jarrett. But it worked. It was on. I mean, I saw that commercial 100 times. I got to go find it. I feel like there was like some crooning voice that was like describing how sexy he was the whole time. Anyway, but
I'm a sucker for a good doc, though,
he,
man. Like, I got to watch that first one, and I'm not gonna hold you. Like, I was never the biggest Jeff Jarrett guy growing up. Like, I liked, Don't Piss Me Off, like when he was Intercontinental Champion and with Deborah, and working with China and WWE. And I'll be honest, like, I didn't watch a ton of late stage WCW when he was champion, but after watching that documentary and part one of Dark Side of the Ring, and obviously being a little bit more older to appreciate what it takes, not just run a wrestling company, but like to go opposite WWE at the time that he did. I think he's going to get, like, he's kind of gotten his late career, late life. I don't want to say late life, but like this sort of late sort of career resurgence of respect from fans, because there was so much scuttlebutt about him for so long, where it's whether it was, is this guy really a top guy? Like, is he really world champion material? The whole fucking Karen Angle shit was kind of crazy.
Yeah, that was icing on the cake.
Being TNA champion for like 8 zillion days when you had Samoa Joe, AJ, like there was so many things that made you feel like, Jeff Jarrett, you're forced.
True.
I'm being forced Jeff Jarrett apart.
Can I ask you a question? Just clean, because second generation. When we're talking about guys that have that theoretically have the minds and the ambition to be running a wrestling company.
Mm-hmm.
But take it back to before the booking took place. If you had just swapped him in for Reign of Terror Triple H, bow down to the game, and the game's name is Jeff Jarrett, would he have been better or worse as that long-standing heel champion in WWE? In the WWE,
he'd be so much worse.
You think he'd be worse than Triple H?
I think he would. I don't think people give Triple H enough credit.
No. I don't either. I listen. I don't either. I'm totally pro Triple H. I don't have an opinion. I don't actually have an answer. But it is interesting to think, like, what if you just swapped them? Like,
no, I mean, off top, Triple H is bigger. Triple H. People really don't like Triple H. For real, don't like him, and that helps, And when you're in a mix with like 4 of the most like charismatic wrestlers like to ever live, and you're the main foil, like that's a great spot to be in. Like, he's worked the gimmick so hard. People really don't like this guy, like in real life. I mean, to this day, like whether it's marrying the boss's daughter, it was so many things that just made him instantly hateable that I don't think Jeff Jarrett could necessarily get to that same level of.
I feel like that's where he exists. I feel like every people hate Jeff Jarrett just implicitly.
I guess, but you know what? It's all right. Put it like this: say TNA, had like a crossover show at their, early peak. You know what I'm saying? Like, is he standing up to The Rock? Is he standing up to Triple H? Is he standing up to Goldberg?
I think he would have to. I think he would have to, because who else would be doing it in the early stage of TNA?
Yeah, that's the thing. He would be the guy to do it. And, again, like I said, great worker, but like completely changed my opinion on him after watching Dark Side of the Ring. But just watching him as a kid, like I just never bought into him as like a guy who's on the level of Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Remember I had a crazy conspiracy theory about Jarrett taking over WWE? Anyway, I won't rehash the whole thing, but I do think it was notable that when Vince was under federal investigation or on trial, he called Jerry Jarrett and had Jerry. Supposedly, Vince told me this, but I don't know if it's actually to what extent it's true. He had Jerry Jarrett lined up to be his replacement if he had to go to jail, which is wild, because you would think aren't there people around you that could do this job? No, what Vince was still the mindset is that we need a showrunner, a head booker. We need a guy who can do this. Jerry Jarrett was the guy. And Jerry Jarrett is, if you've listened to Bruce Pritchard do impressions, Jerry Jarrett is like the most inherently funny person. Like, it's hard not to laugh at him. And I say this as someone from Louisville. Like I know people that talk like him, but he is the funniest. Like just the way he sounds is hilarious. But he was going to do it, and then I thought it was really funny. I thought the conspiracy theory that I don't think I ever quite put the bow on was right when Vince McMahon is forced out of WWE, they brought in Jeff Jarrett to be like, hey, what was he? He was doing like international partnerships or something like that. With Bruce, you want to come on?
Yeah, he was doing both international partnerships, and I'm pretty sure he helped them work with getting house shows into like smaller,
oh, that's right.
areas.
Yes,
he was basically like he had the connections.
Yeah, because he had done all the he bicycled the tape around the territory and like he knew how to do that stuff. Yeah. I just thought it's just weird. It's like default that like in a time of need, WWE always defaults to a Jarrett. But I do think that I just think that there's something inherently interesting about the Jarrett Triple H. It's not a parallel. Their careers are very, very different. But is there a world in which Jarrett is like inherits the keys at WWE? Like it's not that crazy,
There's definitely a multiversal timeline where that could exist.
Like Triple H, I mean, is the best man for the job. I don't have any question about it at all. I do think it's like an interesting like I don't think that he I'm not going to get on the like he only got this because he's the boss's daughter trick. I just think from a purely practical perspective, like would Vince have had the relationship with him that he had if he weren't Stephanie's husband? Like would he have gotten? I guess he did get a lot of the opportunities to shadow the creative team and all that kind of stuff before he was with Stephanie. So he was obviously on that path. But yeah, it's interesting to me. Anyway, how do we even start talking about Jeff Jarrett? Double J,
Dark Side of the Ring.
Never. Yeah. We'll talk about Dark Side of the Ring on Monday because I really want to get into it and watch the whole thing. Mm-hmm. Let's see. We've dealt with an attempted murder today. What else do we need to talk about? Hold on. Let me get my spreadsheet up here. How are you feeling about? I do feel like I was made. On Tuesday's show, I said for all you people that are hating on CM Punk winning. Like that was you weren't like realizing how big of a moment that was in Chicago. I stand by that, but I do think I was underestimating the CM Punk hate coming off of that match. I think I just think the vast majority of diehard wrestling fans just love Sammy so much that they're going to be mad at Punk. What do you think Punk's going to? We talked about Punk playing heel, but do you think Punk's going to carry this baggage with him moving forward?
Yeah, I think so. I think CM Punk should lean into it also. I think this is a great opportunity for CM Punk to put another layer on his character. I think it's a great opportunity for Sami Zayn to put another layer on his character. The more I thought about it, like in the days after the title change, like the more I'm like, I like it. Because they released this video of Sami Zayn like cursing out. And, like I always say, WWE will always tell you where they're going. Just got to pay attention, all right? And the fact that they didn't hide from hide from CM Punk basically being treated like a Hulk Hogan, basically being treated like a corporate, golden boy. Like at the end of the day, no matter who you feel about baby faces, heels, whatever it is, Sami Zayn had worked 20 years to get to this point. CM Punk walked in the day of, not even scheduled, you know what I'm saying, and gets a world championship match. Fans are going to not love that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could put anybody in that situation. And even the fact that they did it in Chicago was smart because I'm not necessarily sure how much CM Punk gets cheered in other cities. Like, I'm not sure if, obviously, he's not going to get cheered in wherever the hell they're in for SmackDown tomorrow as much as he's going to be in Chicago. But I also think they're not going to shy away from the fact that CM Punk walked into a world championship opportunity fell out of the sky for him, basically.
Yeah.
And, he's got a lot of great sort of accolades to sort of brag about now. You know what I mean? Like, he's the first person to hold both world titles in the same calendar year. He's the first person to hold every version of the WWE Championship from his career on and the World Heavyweight Championship from his career on. Like, he has become a franchise unto himself. He is the guy that's on Fanatics Fest. He is the guy that does all the press. He wears the suits. He does everything. He does everything John Cena did at one point, and he kind of got John Cena treatment. So I don't expect them to shy away from that. I expect them to embrace it. And I think the more he embraces it, the more fans are going to not like what they hear from Punk, because he's not going to be somebody who's going to be like, oh, well, I worked so hard. Da, 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 da. He seems like the type that's going to be like, of course I could walk in after 6 months and win the world championship. I'm CM Punk. You new around here? Like, what are you talking about? Like, he's like, you kidding me? Have you seen the ratings the past several months? Have you seen the gates? Have you seen the arenas? Like, he seems like the type of person to be like, you can hate it all you want, but I'm cash money when I'm the world champion over here. And that will get people talking. And I'm telling you, somebody's got to be Mr. TKO. Like, somebody's got to be that person who is the avatar.
That's got to be their character.
They don't have to necessarily call them Mr. TKO, but somebody has to be the avatar for who is the true big heel in WWE when it comes to wrestling fans. And that is this idea that TKO is behind all the things we don't like, and the wrestlers themselves are behind all the things that we actually like. You know what I mean? So I want to see what happens if CM Punk becomes that person that embraces being the dude that Nick Khan and Ari Emanuel and Vit and Triple H and all these guys, I almost said Freudian, someone said Vince, and all these guys have, their money behind. They're paid very well. And, I think there's a great sort of twist there with the GMs, because, he picked up Nick Aldis's call, but he didn't pick up, gosh, what's my boy's name? GM of fucking Raw, bald head.
Adam Pearce.
Adam Pearce. He picked up Nick Aldis's call, but he didn't pick up Adam Pearce's call. So that gives you a tell that he's going to be SmackDown guy going forward. And it also gives you a tell of, like, I was sitting here trying to do your job, and, like, you kind of went around me, and you took one of my biggest stars away from my show. So, like, there's a whole thing there that I think they could really entertain. And, I think it all eventually turns into a new version of a heel that CM Punk plays, where he doesn't necessarily change who he is, just changes his actions and changes what he does it for, which is the big greenbacks, the bottom line, the almighty dollar.
I will say, I commented on his facial hair and his head hair on Monday, and if he is indeed turning heel, or on Tuesday, sorry, if he's indeed turning heel, I take back everything that I said. It was a subtly heelish glow up for him, or glow down. I don't even know, but one of the two. I think that they're gonna have to play with it, and I hope that you are correct, that this is the plan all along, because it will certainly make it, it's going to be the thing that people are talking about. My biggest question, and I said it at the top, is, can CM Punk even turn heel on Cody Rhodes? Or is Cody the one? It's not even that we dislike Cody. It's that fans are more primed for the Cody heel turn. And CM Punk turning heel on him will feel like a miscalculation, I should say. What do you think about that?
Explain that. Calculations on what?
Well, I think that the better move would be to turn Cody heel as opposed to turning Punk heel.
Sammy and Cody kept referencing that Cody's addicted to the WWE Championship, right? And that's where I thought this was going. I thought before Punk came back, we're going to get a Cody Rhodes addiction storyline where, like, he's not necessarily a heel. He's just addicted to the World Championship, and he'll do anything to reclaim it, and he'll do anything to keep it his. But I just don't think they're going to turn Cody. Like, I think they've decided, I think we've all decided that he's our Cena. He's going to be the guy that's going to be true blue through and through every single time. People around him are going to change. He's going to have temptation, but I just don't see them turning him. He is such the heir apparent to John Cena that, I have a hard time believing that, and Punk's a better heel. What are you talking about? You know what I mean?
I feel Cody is more Cena than Cena in some ways.
Mm-hmm.
like all of his feuds, with John Cena, you'd be like, oh, all these feuds are the same. With Cody, like all the feuds are the same. Like every feud, like they start the same way, they end the same way, and there's always a moment in the middle where Cody gets a win in their first match that is where the heel didn't deserve to lose. Like the heel had his foot under the rope, whatever. We always have that beat, and then they get their rematch, and then we have the Cody goes crazy beat and resorts to using the steel steps. Like they all have the same beats to the point where like it makes me hope that they are doing this deliberately, because what you're saying is totally true. There's like, it's just like it's a repetitive cycle with some of these baby faces, and with Cody Rhodes, like they're leaning into the repetitive cycle, and that I hope to God that's on purpose, because otherwise this is the inevitability of pro wrestling, that our baby faces are going to always disappoint us with monotony or with whatever else. I tied together these two title wins at the beginning of the show in the cold open question, the very lengthy cold open question. I know that Kenny Omega, I mean, this match was on paper for a long time. It felt obvious. It felt preordained. Do you think that any part of Sami Zayn winning the title had to do with the fact that WWE saw this Kenny Omega win coming and wanted to like one-up it?
No.
I'm not asking
it's
this.
The summer of trying shit.
Okay.
They was going to try shit anyway.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
I don't disagree with you. But as much as, this is the one one aspect where I really do think you'd be failing at your job to not be factoring this sort of thing in as a creative person. If you're watching, if you find out the competition is having a match that could very well result in a title change, and you have a show the day before, you gotta talk about it. Hey, should we just do with the title change for the hell of it, just so we get the eyeballs on us? Keep the eyeballs on us. It's an interesting question, because like I said, you would be doing a poor job if you did not talk about that stuff. Anyway, it is interesting that those two things happened right in a row. We're having kind of similar conversations, and that sort of synchronicity is what we at the Masked Man Show live for. Anyway, I guess that's it. Anything on SmackDown tomorrow, Bruce? Do we know what's going to happen besides CM Punk being there? He's shaking his head. All right. CM Punk. It's like the old CM Punk and AEW days. CM Punk speaks. That's like instead of a scheduled match, we get that. Anyway, Kaz, would you like to get some plugs in on the way out the door, on the way into your wonderful weekend?
7 p.m. in Brooklyn. New episode is out right now with Nigel Sylvester and T.I. Catch me on Mornings in Merrill every Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Hot 97. Summer Jam is next week. This weekend, I'll be hosting Who's the Best tournament in Las Vegas for NBA 2K with a bunch of incredible NBA players. If you're in Las Vegas for Summer League, come catch me out there. It's going to be super fun. I'll be there for a pinch. And then the Summer Jam is July 24th at the Prudential Center for Hot 97. I'll be there. French Montana, Max B, Lil Baby, Ice Spice, Zeddy Will, incredible performers, and so much more. Fetty Wap, they'll all be there. And for fans at 7 p.m. in Brooklyn, 7 p.m. in Brooklyn, Live from the Block will be next Friday, July 18th. Live podcast with myself, Carmelo Anthony, Monica McNutt, Kid Mero, and a bunch of incredible special guests live in Brooklyn right after Fanatics Fest. Pull up. It'll be a good time.
You know how it's probably not a thing anymore, but you know, there was a time where you would see that like a Yankees and a Mets jersey that were sewn together in the middle around the streets of New York. Do you know what I'm talking about, Kaz?
Yes. I hate those.
Sure. They're gross. I mean, they don't look great, but you may be the only person now standing, now that you've reclaimed the title from Rosenberg, as the guy who could wear the half Summer Jam, half Summer Slam t-shirt.
You know, I have these half Yankee, half Met hats. My guy Gary.
That's what I'm talking about.
These are, I mean, but look.
Oh, but that's the tasteful one. Oh yeah.
Look at the quality on these hats. You know what I mean?
But seriously, could you just do? Or you either have to get a reversible shirt with Summer Jam on the front and Summer Slam on the back.
Mm-hmm. You're gonna do a Hot Rod and Hot Scott.
Yeah, or you have to have one shirt under the other, do the Hulk Hogan tear off to reveal the one underneath.
Yes. You are. I'm liking the cut of your jib shoes.
Okay,
I'm gonna figure this out for SummerSlam and SummerSlam. Are we doing? We're not doing SummerSlam this year, right? We're not doing Minnesota.
It's feeling like no.
I think so. Enjoy Minnesota though. Should be great.
Yeah, no, it sounds great. We'll see.
Oh,
we'll
but
see.
I will be at Saturday night's main event though.
When is
I will
that?
be at Saturday night's main event. The Saturday Fanatics Fest, July 18th.
Oh, that's right. Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Did you think that was? Wait, did you? That was actually in the commercial. I made a note about this. I totally forgot. Where they were just like Saturday. It was like Saturday's main event. It was like the night of Fanatics Fest. I was like, do we really live in a world where Fanatics Fest is a bigger deal than Saturday night's main event?
Yeah, Fanatics Fest is definitely a bigger deal than Saturday night's main event. No bullshit. As much as I love me some pro wrestling,
but does WWE shouldn't WWE be no selling this? Like,
well, they're partners. I mean, them and Fanatics are like locked in, and I know Roman Reigns and Jalen Brunson are doing a live podcast that day, that Saturday morning before SNME. I have it under strong authority. There'll be a strong Knicks contingent at the Garden for Saturday night's main event, so that should be really fun. And then the next day, Sunday, I'll be hosting a Call of Duty premiere party and event at Fanatics Fest with the Usos, Jimmy and Jay. So if you're at Fanatics Fest that Sunday, pull up on me, man. It should be a good time. Lots of good stuff. So yes, Fanatics Fest is a big event, and I'm sure they got lots of money to promote the shit out of it until
I just love the idea that like people are gonna be wandering out of Fanatics Fest on Friday, and there'll be like WWE like trolls like papering the crowd, like, "Hey, you guys want to go to a wrestling show? It's right up the block here. Just come to this thing." It's like, no, you could probably fill up Madison Square Garden without like the runoff of Fanatics Fest. That's all I'm saying. But yeah, it's going to be really cool. Oh, I'm going to tell you next week's cold open question of the week so you can think about it, because this is for real. This is something I want to talk about in depth. There's a lot of talk recently. I saw a thing online about why the wrestling ring hasn't evolved significantly over in our lifetimes, right? They're still putting it together with ring crews and planks of wood and, like nautical rope and shit. The different companies have different materials, but you take the point. You don't want a more cushiony ring. So you can get subtly more cushiony, but the big thing is the more cushiony it gets, the harder it is to run. And actually you end up messing up your knees if you're running through quicksand like that, right? So it has to be hard enough for your feet, but it has to be soft enough for your back. This is all beside the point. Here's a real question. Listeners, Kaz, Bruce, ponder on this. If someone magically created a wrestling ring that was painless, everything else was perfect, but it was painless, would it still be professional wrestling?
Nope.
No, wait, save it for next week. Save it for next week. I want to talk about this a lot. Anyway, thank you, Kaz. Thank you to Bruce Baldwin. Thanks to our EP Ben Cruz. Thank you all for listening. What was my there's no place like home? Oh, right. No place like home. Bruce, can we just run the 227 theme song as our outro until legal tells us to stop? He's shrugging his shoulders. All right, let's just do it. Well, see you back here next week, humanoids.
Peace.